Okay, so this is what I want you to do. If you have the template, then let your kids scribble all over the back side of the template with a pencil or charcoal. This is charcoal, but I would recommend pencil because the graphite doesn't smear as much. And so what you can do, after you've scribbled on the back side, flip it over and then center it on your piece of watercolor paper or your canvas, whatever you want to use. And then you're going to take a pencil. Let me grab my mechanical pencil. I'm not seeing my mechanical pencil. Here's one. Take a mechanical pencil or anything that you have that's thin like this and just push the lead up. And then you're going to come back over and just start tracing these lines out. Make sure you hold the paper in place so it doesn't slide. And then you just want to check every now and then to make sure that your pattern is being transferred. So I'm doing this because it gives you time to go to masterpiecesociety.com/color, or if you're a studio member, go to the My Courses page, scroll down to the coloring pages and download this, and then get that Beetle, print it off, and start transferring your template. It's super simple. And I think that I've got it covered with this leg, but I'm just gonna check to make sure, and I do. So, I don't have the pattern for the chevrons. Did you use a ruler when you did this, Olivia?
No.
Wow, you did it that straight? What did you? You're amazing.
Yes, I am.
I had Olivia come in and just create me some chevrons. They're about a 1/2 inch, most of them. And I am going to do 8, and we're gonna follow the colors of the rainbow, but since the Roy G. Biv, the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet are only 7. Of course, my rainbow has to have a little pink in it, so we're gonna have pink there too. So that makes 8 chevrons that we need on our bug. So once you get the pattern traced off, you wanna just come in here lightly and make some V shapes or chevron patterns. And they don't have to be perfect. I should probably stop and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be my 6th. And my 7th. And my 8th. Mine are not as straight as Olivia's, but oh well. So welcome everybody that is joining us. Let us know if you're watching and where you're quarantined from. And as I mentioned earlier, go to masterpiecesociety.com/color to download your templates and create with us, and then post your finished picture on this link so that we can enter you into the drawing to win some awesome art supplies. So now that I've got mine all traced out and all the chevrons done, I'm going to start adding color. And if you notice on this, I am letting my colors bleed into each other to just give it that kind of psychedelic look, or as my son said, it looked a little fluorescent, but that might just be because I have that bright pink. So just take whatever watercolors you have, and I like to use a spray bottle, and I just spray down my tray to activate the colors a little better. And I'm using this one is a number 8 round brush. You don't have to have this exact size, just use what you have. And I'm gonna dip it in my water, and I'm gonna start with red. I guess everybody knows the rainbow colors. Roy G. Biv helps you remember the order, or what's the Richard of York gave battle in vain. Roy G. Biv is so much easier to remember than that. So let's start with the R in Roy, which is for red. You don't have to do the rainbow colors. You can do it in your favorite colors. I would suggest that if you do something that are complementary colors like red and green, or blue and yellow, or orange and purple. No, not orange and purple. It's, yeah, that you actually leave lines and let them dry a bit so that they don't just make a beautiful brown. It's yellow and purple that are complementary, and orange and green. I gotta correct that, it's gonna drive me crazy. Okay, so I'm not even gonna let my red dry because I'm not doing the complementary colors. I am doing like colors, how you would see them on the color wheel. And I actually want them to run into each other. I'm just being a little bit careful on the edges because I do want to keep the Beetle's shell, armor, whatever it is. I want that to stay looking like a shield. But I definitely want my colors running into each other. And in between each, I'm going to clean my brush and get a pretty good bit of the next color on there. And I am using less water and more color on my brush so that my colors are vibrant. The more water you use, the more it's going to run into each other, and the lighter your color shades will be. We definitely do want it running into each other though. And to be honest, I think that my brush has way too much water on it at this moment with the orange. All right, so cleaning my brush and now moving to my yellow. Oh, I love that. You see how that yellow has already puddled into the orange? And I'm not trying to do that, it's just running into it. And when you're doing, uh-oh, got a little piece of fuzz there. When you're doing certain types of watercolors, you don't want your colors running together. I can't get that up. Okay, it's just gonna have to stay. But in this project, we definitely want them intermingling. All right, so we've got the Roy. Now let's go to the G for green. We actually have Rapoy because I put my pink in there. Rapoy G Biv. Get a little bit more color on my brush, but I'm not putting any more water on it. If you're just joining us, we are trying to create a Beetle for all the boys and girls who love bugs. I do not love bugs. The only way that I love bugs is if they're dead or not real. So we decided we'd make a colorful bug. And he's our rainbow chevron beetle. So let's go on to blue. I'm going to use a turquoise blue because for my indigo, I'm going to use a darker blue. But I do love this turquoise. I'm just letting it touch up against this green and letting the colors run into each other. I have hardly any water on this brush, but this paint right here, this particular color is very saturated, so it is easy to move around. All right, and now I'm going to my darker blue. We're going to pretend it's indigo, but it's not quite indigo. I must have gone way out here. I'm going to have to correct that and bring, there we go. You know what, that's too close to the turquoise I just used, so I'm going to add in this Prussian blue. Here we go. Take a little bit more of that. All right, and so that leaves my purple, or violet if we're doing the Roy G. BIV. V for violet. All right, so that takes care of the shell of our beetle. And what I'm going to do is, while I still have the purple, the violet on my brush, I'm going to come up here and just paint in his head. And I'm going to take each of these colors and paint the legs and the abdomen. A different color of the rainbow as well. Need a little bit more. Okay, so I'm cleaning off my brush and I'm going to go back to this aqua turquoise color. So am I painting the abdomen or is this the thorax? It's been so long since we did insect study. One of you moms out there need to tell me what I'm painting besides a gross beetle. Oops, I need a little bit more water on this. There we go. If you don't want to make chevrons on your beetle, you can do like a floral pattern, just put flowers all over, or hearts, or polka dots. I'd love to see all sorts of designs. All right, and so now I'm going to go to the legs. Let's go ahead and do this one over on the, this is my left. Is it showing up right? It looks like it's showing up correct for y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to try not to let the legs touch up against the colors that I've already got on there. And they don't have to be perfectly straight because we will come back at the end and outline them with our Sharpie marker. And I would suggest that you use a permanent pen. If you have water, like washable markers, you need to make sure your watercolors are really, really dry before you outline it with that. But if you have a Sharpie or a Micron pen or the Faber-Castell pen, Pitt pen is what those are called, then you don't have to worry about those because they're permanent and won't mess up your colors. All right. Move on to the middle ones. Let's see, we want to do red and pink there. So we'll do red on this side. Had a little too much water on my brush there, but it's okay. And pink on this side. Cleaning my brush again. We're gonna grab the orange for this back leg. And then the other one on the other side, we'll do yellow. Just doing these jointed legs is making me gross out. We have camel crickets that get in our house during the summertime, and they are so disgusting. They look like hopping tarantulas or something. They're really gross. Their jointed legs kind of weird me out. Okay, this one, it looks like I made my trace is a little bit too wide, and I don't want that to be that wide, but I'm just gonna leave it like that. Now, I'm looking up here to see if these are dry enough for me to come back with. I'm gonna just grab my heat it tool real quick. So bear with me. I'm gonna dry this just a bit. This is supposed to be the low noise one. Obviously, it's not. This is the Ranger Heat It craft tool. I really love how all of the colors have blended together, blended in on each other. So I'm going to turn it towards me because I can see that certain of the legs are still wet, but the head is pretty much dry. So I'm just going to come back with my Sharpie and start outlining it. And I shouldn't have started so soon. if you smear, let me just show you how to fix that. I'm taking a clean paper towel and my water bottle, and you just want to very quickly dab it up, and maybe use the dry end. I'm not gonna smear it too much into, I don't want to get any closer because that's still wet, but that's how you clean up. If you can get to it really quickly, you can usually pull up the watercolor. Otherwise, it's down there forever. Okay, so let me see if I can do it a different way. I'm gonna hold my hand up and try not to run it through. So I highly recommend that you let yours dry. This is awkward trying to hold my hand up. Now I'm gonna set it down over here. And this orange is very wet. I mean, it's like pooling up there, so I'm trying not to touch that at all. Let's go ahead and do the antenna. And I see where I missed a little spot on his head that needs to have the purple right there. And on this one, I gave him green eyes. But I think I'm gonna give this one blue eyes, these cute little turquoise ones. In fact, this one I think is gonna be a girl. I'm gonna give her some cute little eyelashes. And you know what else? Just to try to make this bug cute, let's give it a little bit. Let's give her some lips. I'm just gonna dip my brush in the pink, and I'm just gonna add some little lips on the other side of her antenna. She's got her lipstick on. Now, if that's not a cute bug, I don't know what is. Okay, let's go ahead and put, still trying not to put my hand down into the paints that are wet. Let me turn it. And just outline these legs. Normally, I would put the joint in right there, but this is all looking wet. I don't want my marker to die on me, so on these two bottom legs, I'm not going to do joints. This one looks dry enough. So this is what I mean. I'm not putting that little curve right there, just because that's still wet. Okay, so if you want to, when yours dries, you could actually go in and create, just take your black pen and create lines between the colors of the chevrons, but I like leaving it like that. And you can be done if this is all you want to do, but if you want to add a little bit more color to your crazy beetle, then first of all, make sure that your mom is okay with this, and then probably put some plastic or some paper sacks out and put this on the floor. Then you dip your brush in water. Make sure you have a lot of water on the brush, and then you're just gonna start flicking it. And you flick it by just tapping it on your finger. and you can flick it around or all over the beetle. And I'm going to take all the colors that I just used, except I didn't clean my brush very well, and my orange is not as pretty as I want it to be. I've got a little bit too much water in some cases, so the droplets are running, but that's okay. Just make sure you clean your brush in between the colors again. We're going to do a generous amount of pink. All right, we've got blue, we've got orange, yellow, pink. Let's do some green. And you can just go on and on with this. I'm going to move this one aside and give you just a few more ideas with this one that's already dry, while this one continues to dry. So if you want to take this even further, then you could grab like your washable markers, as long as this is completely dry, or any kind of markers you have, or you could take gel pens and use them. But I am going to here I go again with my dots. I really like dots. So you could do all sorts of different designs with white in the chevrons. Maybe you want to make some scallops. Make sure your piece is good and dry before you start applying the gel pens or the Sharpies or whatever. Let's do some scallops here, going the opposite way. So you could just go on and on with your decoration, or you can just leave it like we had it at the beginning. Maybe they want a cute little lace collar or something. This is actually a little too big. A nice gel pen would be a better size. I'm just trying to make bugs not so gross.